Kia ora. In the headlines this evening, the government's comfortable with where the country is at on retirement saving. Political parties across the spectrum are calling for discussion on the future of national superannuation, but National doesn't believe it needs to be addressed before 2020. Finance Minister Bill English says New Zealand has settled on a universal pension, the super fund and KiwiSaver.
So, New Zealand has grappled with these issues now for a couple of decades and has thought a lot about the future and has got arrangements in place.
The Prime Minister is warning raising the retirement age might not have the effect people think. The government's been pressured to review superannuation entitlements as concerns are raised about the cost of the scheme. John Key says raising the age of eligibility has less of an impact on superannuation than many commentators imagine.
For instance, moving the age to 67 makes a difference of about 0.7% of GDP, and that is not until 2030.
The rising cost of superannuation has the opposition asking for a rise in the retirement age, but Prime Minister John Key remains adamant the age can stay at 65. Grey Power's Roy Reid says many people over 65 still work part-time to support themselves.
I'm well aware of people who are age 70 or even older that are working, and there are some that have to work because of financial commitments, and the superannuation is not enough income to support their needs.
Scott Guy's mother has been questioned over a conversation she had with Ewan McDonald on the morning of her son's murder. McDonald was on trial for shooting dead his brother-in-law on July 8, 2010. The Crown claims McDonald knew Guy had been shot while everybody else believed he'd been stabbed. Joanne Guy told the court she doesn't remember asking if he'd been shot. An unfortunate timing is how the Prime Minister is describing today's announcement ACC Chairman John Judge is quitting the role. The government insists Mr Judge hasn't been pushed out of the role because of the controversy around the Bronwyn Puller case. Mr Judge's term ran out in March and he's taken on a job as chairman at ANZ Bank. Murray Toliafoa is now in police custody. He was apprehended in a Countdown car park on Quay Street at lunchtime today after 4.5 days on the run. The 30-year-old was being hunted after he allegedly shot at a police officer on Friday in the Auckland CBD. Detective Inspector Scott Beard wants to thank the public for its support and his officers for their dedication and hard work. To international news, where more than 100 people have been killed in violence across Syria. Activists say the killings have occurred mainly in the central province of Homs and to the coastal province of Latakia. They came as international mediator Kofi Annan says he is gravely concerned by the Syrian regime's use of heavy weaponry to attack rebel strongholds. The government's welcoming early results on efforts to recover money from student loan holders living overseas. In late 2010, efforts were stepped up to recover overdue money. Minister of Revenue Peter Dunn says so far the scheme's recovered around $20 million. He says the scheme was well targeted in encouraging overseas graduates to meet their obligations. And the so-called Westpac runaway millionaire has pleaded guilty on a reduced number of charges. Leo Gao was originally charged with 16 counts of theft and 2 of money laundering. Today he's pleaded guilty to 7 counts of theft with the reason for the change being suppressed. He's been remanded on bail under electronic monitoring until sentencing. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it's following up on reports of a yacht sinking off the coast of New York in the USA. A crew list suggests New Zealander Matthew Edwards could be on board the super yacht, Blind Date, which has exploded off the coast of New Jersey. The Coast Guard reports 21 people were on board and all have been accounted for. And retailers are enjoying a winter lift. May has had the best figures of the year, with Paymark showing growth across the country at 5.8%. Plumbers and floor covering suppliers have had the strongest sales, but dentists, mechanics and clothing retailers are also enjoying double-digit growth. Fines won't be on the cards for people who break a smoking ban, which may be adopted for public places in Auckland. A council committee will today consider a recommendation to ban smoking in council-controlled spaces such as parks, playgrounds and stadiums. Chairwoman Sandra Coney says the smoke-free policy wouldn't be regulated, it would rely on signs, education and social pressure. Prince Philip has cancelled royal engagements over the coming days as he continues to recover from a bladder infection. The Duke of Edinburgh turned 91 on Sunday. and Prince Andrew will sit in for him to help the Queen host a party at her Sandringham estate. And the computer giant Apple is tipped to reveal its latest version of the iPhone tonight, with a new big screen version on offer to entice tech geeks. The company is also tipped to unveil slimmed down Macs and new software that lets users talk to their tablets. That's all from me. Ka kite anō.